And what's your biggest takeaway from the night?
Just not getting out of the blocks. Obviously, we just first 5-6 minutes they had a ton. I think timeout. I told them they're on pace to score 50, and they almost got there by throwing that three in at the end of the quarter. From then on, it was a little bit better, but that just the start defensively, transition. Thought a lot of wide open shots in the first quarter. They almost were begging us to take threes, and it seemed like we almost had to take them, and then we didn't hit any of them early, and they were out in transition. Chased it uphill for most of the game. Closed it down a couple times, got away from us again, closed it down a little bit at the end, but it's really all about the start of the game. Didn't feel like we were moving great start of the game.
Nick, I guess what you kind of tell a guy like Ricky, are you happy with the shots that he was taking tonight, or what was there maybe something?
Like I think the catch and shoot threes, most of them are okay. Once in a while, he gets a little deep in that slot. I think that's probably a little deep. Again, just from an efficiency standpoint, some of the turnaround jumpers, 12 to 14 feet, are pretty high degree of difficulty and pretty low efficiency shots. Don't love those. I'm really trying to get him to push the ball in transition more and get in the paint and make a play. Really trying to get him to do that more than once or twice a game. Been stressing that to him because it's one thing he's really good at. But yeah, he's had some really erratic shooting nights. He had a great one the other night, but a couple sandwiched around a couple really erratic ones. And I think he's a better shooter than that, but he's really had a tough time getting the ball to go in the basket this year.
Guerschon looked like he was kind of moving a little bit better
Yeah.
to start the night. Do you kind of sense that he's kind of getting better after the knee?
Last couple, he certainly moved better after kind of a long stretch of struggling again. But yeah, I think he had a game off in there somewhere and was able to get 3 or 4 days rest, and just good to see him. I think scoring at the basket a little bit more because he was doing that like almost automatic early in the year, and then obviously the pick and pops he had going a little bit tonight too.
What do you feel like you learned about Quentin in this more ball dominant, high usage role he's in?
Well, he can get his shots off, right? Like he can really create his own shots. He can stop, start, and vault up and get clearance. Pretty physical with the ball too. He's good at whatever, shoulder hitting, slight push off maybe. Again, getting space. Little bit like I'm still trying to figure out when he's exactly going to pull the triggers on the threes. Sometimes it seems like when it gets swung and he's wide open, like we had one tonight where he caught it and he was wide open. He's like, oh man, I'm open, and didn't shoot it. And then he sat there for a second. Then he shot it, totally guarded and swished it. Right. So a little bit trying to get the rhythm of when he's going to pull some of those. But again, I think the three balls, creating his own offense, and I do like his explosiveness downhill. Like he vaults up and goes into, makes contact, kind of keeps elevating after he makes contact and gets to the line pretty good in those and finishes some of those.
That thing you're talking about with hesitating a little bit on threes, do you think any of that is just that he knows that he's going to have a lot of opportunities right now, and so maybe he's thinking, I got to get other guys involved and hunt a little bit, rather than when he's playing in that pure spot up roll off of Tyrese and Paul and other guys, it felt like then
he was shooting a little, yeah.
The trigger.
Yeah, I think maybe, yeah. I almost think that he knows he's got a lot of attention on him, and it's almost he's super surprised when he comes off a screen and he's like wide open. I think he's always thinking there's one, possibly 1.5, 2 guys going to be lunging out at him, and I think that's probably a little. I've noticed that he seems like he's ready for double teams and blitzes and things when he's handling a little bit. So maybe that's part of it too. I don't know. I'll talk to him about it.
I was the coach, but the early start they had in terms of the threes, how much was their sets in terms of what they wanted to run? How much of that was effective? Is that why they were so effective early? They wanted to kind of do what they wanted to do in that first quarter.
Yeah, I think most of it just had to do with us just not quite moving great to start. Right, I just felt like again when they drive the ball, that was like bias. Right, our impacting the body on drive, we were just off our guys, a step, step and a half, and they just had freedom, a lot of freedom to get in the lane, and then that's going to cause a chain reaction of movement for the rest of your defense. Some of it was in transition as well. Some of it was, just straight pick and pops with Saar that, we didn't, again, execute defensively very well either. Again, I think more of it was just attention to detail and attention to making sure we got out to the shooters. I think we were kind of playing let's hope they miss rather than let's make them miss. You know what I mean? Yeah, so.
And seeing you guys come back the way you guys did to make a game, how impressive it was to see you guys able to do that young squad, especially on
These guys have done that. I think they've almost. I mean, I can't really recall when we've just got our doors totally blown off for the whole game with this group. Like they've had some rough moments, but they've usually fought their way back into it. I think even in New Orleans we were getting smacked around pretty good there by 20, and we came all the way back and took the lead. So they keep fighting, and we usually can find some combination. I thought those guys coming off the bench did a nice job just of energy and changing the game a little bit. Most of those guys, Wheeler plus 10, Butler plus 1, Bona minus 4. Off the bench is not too bad. Yeah.
You just mentioned Bona. You talked maybe a month or so ago about how his passing has been better than you thought. I think he had 3 assists tonight. I guess, how have you seen him grow in that area, and how much can it help an offense to have a big who can make quick decisions in like short roll situations, especially even long term with guys like Tyrese and Jarrett?
Yeah.
Like blitz.
Give him credit for working on it. Give our coaching staff credit for continuing to work on it. I think that we found a segment of the year when they thought maybe he wasn't a great ball handler, so they would blitz a lot when he was in. So he really had to we had to really spend a lot of time with him making that short roll read. And I think he's improved at it. I mean, just got to get him to be a little bit better screener, because I think if he can screen and free up our guards a little bit more, then get out of them and sprint to the rim. Like he's a good roll threat, and we need that dimension. That dynamic dimension to our offense because again, you know how that is. That's either going to free up the ball handler a little bit because they're going to be a little worried about him lob dunking. They're going to have to pull in from the weak side, which should get us some catch and shoot corner threes. But again, if they're going to blitz us, which they will with Tyrese and some of these guys, he's going to have to be able to make the next play out, and he's improving at that.
Guerschon, it seems like you have your legs are better right now. You're just moving around better. Do you feel that way? Is that the knee situation maybe getting easier for you? Like, I know you were fatigued at dealing with that the last month or so. I guess just how are you feeling physically right now?
Pretty good. The medical staff doing a great job of taking care of my knee, game after game, But yeah, it's been feeling pretty good. Tonight it was really moving pretty well. I had a good feeling, jumping and running today was a good day for me.
Guerschon, Justin's taken a more central role in the offense these last few weeks. I guess, how have you seen him evolve during that time? Like, what are some new things you've seen compared to maybe earlier in the season?
He's been pretty efficient lately for us. Most of the time, when you get the ball, he can really finish over there at the rim, and it's been pretty good for us in terms of energy, really just going to the rim. It's been really tough to be guarded by the other teams, and we really need him to keep doing that. Especially at the time we are right now, we really need him to keep pushing.
You guys have had a lot of new guys cycling on 10 days and stuff the last month or so, especially in the front court. What's it been like for you to help those guys acclimate?
I'm really just trying to be positive, first of all. Try to be out there and just make everybody's job a little bit more easier. Offense, defense, try to be loud, just try to communicate, try to give everybody confidence. And, I'll be telling them at the end of the day, it's just us out there. We got to figure out a way to keep competing, keep trying to win and, be the best out there. So I'm, just try to be more vocal and try to make everything easier.
To that point of, being positive and trying to lead, you came into this team with very different expectations, I'm sure, about how the year would go and who you'd be playing with. How do you maintain that positivity this deep into a year that I know has been frustrating for everybody?
At the end of the day, I'm a competitor. I want to I want to win every game that I play. You know, I really hate losing. So, yeah, it's been tough. A couple of last week. You know, not gonna lie, but you know, I got to keep pushing. You know, we got to be pro. When we come out there, we put on a jersey. We got to play 100%. So, when I step on the court, I make sure that I leave everything out there, play my best, and you know, like I said, just try to get the guys, try to follow too, and really give everything we can on the court. You know, to keep fighting.
Justin, since we last saw you this long road trip, you've taken on a much larger scoring role. I guess, do you feel like you've gotten more comfortable? Do you feel like you're getting better with every sort of rep that you get in a more sort of featured role offensively?
Oh yeah. You know, like I said before, you know, the game is just slowing down a little bit more for me. So, you know, I'm just taking whenever I'm open, I'm just taking a good look at it. And if I feel like if I'm confident in my shot, I'll shoot it. So that's really about it, honestly.
Something that Nick has talked about with you is you're a quick decision maker. Like you're not dribbling for 7-8 seconds. I guess, is that something that has always been part of your game? Is that something you've had to learn, that in the NBA you gotta?
I've always been like
quickly?
that. Like even in my workouts, like my workouts is like that, like 2 to 3 dribble, like because you don't really have a lot of time, especially when guys like PG, Tyrese, guys come back. You know, you gotta have a quick decision. So that's how I've always been.
Justin, is there anything that you felt during this stretch, like, oh, that's something maybe I want to work on more in the summer with a trainer, with the coaching staff, whatever, just whether it's something you didn't get to do in the flow of the offense before?
Just really getting a consistent jump shot. That's probably the biggest thing that I'm probably going to focus on this summer and getting my body right. But that's probably about it, honestly.
What do you think entails getting your body right?
I have meal prep, so that's like a start, and just like you know lifting more and doing more cardio and stuff.
Guerschon talked earlier, about like a month ago, about how he was feeling fatigued just because this season is so much longer than in Europe. As a rookie, has that hit you at any point in the season?
Yeah, this road trip we just came off of. Whew. But you know, that's what I signed up for. So you know, I'm just going to continue to do what I can do in the recovery and just keep doing that moving forward.
Nick mentioned before the game you might not be quite 100% with your ankle. I guess just how's it feeling right now, and how have you been able to play pretty heavy minutes and a significant workload?
I was feeling a lot better. You know, I'm just taking my recovery days day by day and just doing what I can do best.
Justin, it kind of seemed like there were a lot of times tonight where like you kind of dictated to the defense where you wanted to go. It's like all off the dribble, kind of getting to your spots. How has that kind of progressed like throughout your rookie year? Just trying to understand where to get to your spots and things like that on the offensive end.
Just taking what they're giving me, honestly. Like today they were shielding me hard right, so I was just taking what they're giving me. So it was open, I was going, getting to my shots. So that's really about it, honestly, just trying to take advantage of what the defense giving me.
Has that been like I don't know, like a lot of film work or anything?
Oh yeah, a lot of film and just knowing the type of coverages that the other teams is going to throw at me. You know, a lot of the teams run the same coverage on defense. So you know, just getting multiple reps of the same defense.